Have you read a story in the Dreoith Saga and come away with a classic case of Immersion After Effect? Let me guess, there are questions which remain unanswered even as the magic expanded, adding another layer to the dream. The grand desire to turn the page to discover what happened next ended with the last leaf turned. If you're asking where the remedy for the book hangover is, you know the answer: read another story. But you aren't ready for the next tale, not yet. The dust needs to settle before you pick up the next volume. So you have found your way here. You aren't alone. Even the author can't get enough. As you hear this, Ophelia Key writes on. But allow me to offer you a possibility, a reflection on the tale you recently finished, and a way to revisit the story to ease the story blues. Welcome to the Dreoith Saga After Party. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Turn back now if you wish to read the story blind.
You know, what we found in this batch of source material, it just fundamentally redefines what we thought we knew about immortal power structures.
It really does.
We've been handed this saga that reads like pure epic fantasy, a chronicle of this immortal kingdom, Gryphon, which is somehow centered in, of all places, magically real Tyler, Texas.
And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to get our heads around the impossible journey of one man, Marshon Gauthier.
Right.
He's a Gryphon Knight, a highly decorated, 2-century-old immortal alpha shifter. And our source, Gryphon Knight Condemned, it just drops us right in. It's the year 0 once X, and we see Marshon go from a condemned prisoner, contemplating suicide, to a royal ambassador, a Kituaya, in just a few days.
That transformation is just unbelievable. So the central riddle here is, how do these ancient, disparate powers, dragons, druids, first order, immortal shifters, how do they not only coexist but function inside a single, very unconventional pack?
All led by one person, Luke Mendes.
Exactly. And what level of desperation forces a man of such rigid honor to just abandon everything he believes in?
Well, it all kicks off with Marshon's complete and utter failure in San Antonio. He's introduced to us not as a hero, but as a captured criminal.
And he was brought down by Luke Mendes, who isn't just a king, he's the ruirech, the alpha of the Druid Pack, and the ruler of Dreoith.
Yeah, and the source materials is really clear about this. It's not just a political title, it's a physical force. Luke's Alpha Pack leader aura, it can influence even incredibly powerful immortals like Marshon.
So he's not just the top of the hierarchy, he is the magical hierarchy.
Exactly. And Marshon's crime was, well, it was extremely serious. He assaulted Spark, who's a Chi Benok, basically a fire elemental, and he tried to steal her elemental magic books.
And in the middle of all that chaos, he killed 2 red dragons, Blue and Torch. That's a capital offense in Dreoith.
It is. But if you look at his motive, that's where the whole condemnation becomes truly tragic. Marshon was following orders.
Orders from his own people, the Council of the High Command.
Right. They needed the knowledge to reactivate their sentinel gargoyles. It was the key to the Gryphon clan's survival. He was trying to protect his entire society.
So he committed a crime against one kingdom to save his own.
He's trapped, stuck between 2 collapsing worlds. And Luke, initially, he demands an interrogation before any sentencing, which would normally fall to Ash, the Lord of Dragons.
And a sentence from Ash historically means magical death.
Right. So here's where Dreoith's unconventional governance really hits Marshon for the first time. Ash clarifies the penalty.
Yeah. Service for eternity, restitution, and imprisonment for no less than 100 years.
But then the final judgment, it doesn't rest with the king or the Lord of Dragons.
No, it rests with the victim herself, Spark.
Luke asks Spark if she wants Marshon as her eternal servant. And Marshon, he's expecting, a vengeful elemental, but he just hears her say, then no, I have no use for him.
Wow. That must have been the first moment of true confusion for him. He's used to rigid military tribunals, and he lands in a world where the victim has the final, compassionate veto.
And her refusal leaves him in what the sources call limbo.
Because if she refuses his service, the alternative is Ash's death magic. Annihilation.
His only way out is to voluntarily stay inside Dreoith's protected wards and, well, work to earn his freedom. So the choice is prisoner or magical oblivion.
And while he's trying to process all that, he gets news from home.
Devastating news. He contacts his commander and is told that the Council of the High Command has stripped him of his rank and status.
200 years of loyal service just gone in a puff of political smoke.
He's not just condemned by Dreoith, he's destroyed by his own clan. He's now a common criminal and a homeless outcast.
And that just sends him into this complete spiral. We really need to pause on this concept of the fade.
Yes.
It's not just death, it's the erasure of 200 years of existence. It comes from having no purpose, no connection, that level of existential panic. The source describes him just staring at the dregs of a whiskey bottle. It explains why he's so vulnerable to what happens next.
It does. Marshon is isolated, he's drunk, he's staring at oblivion. And who shows up?
Luke Mendes, the literal king who imprisoned him.
With a bottle of water and aspirin, offering an intervention. Not a dungeon, not a punishment, but a path forward.
It's either unconventional or wildly manipulative. I mean, Luke isolates him, strips him of his identity, and then offers sanctuary at his absolute lowest point.
It's certainly effective. Luke's solution is immediate. Honest hard work, join the fencing crew, and define the perimeter of Dreoith.
The culture shock there must have been palpable. Marshon comes from this rigid, authoritarian military command structure.
And suddenly he finds himself doing manual labor with people like Javier, Kalik, Grizz, and get this, the 2 red dragons, Blue and Torch, the ones he just killed.
Who have now been sworn into the pack.
Exactly. They're his co-workers.
The sources really emphasize this strange principle of equality in Dreoith. Luke explains that all pack members were equal. Only when necessary did they defer to the alpha pair's leadership.
So this military alpha is suddenly a grunt, working alongside the very beings he executed. And the material is clear. Marshon has to keep his hands busy or his mind just starts to eat itself.
And Luke uses this period of forced therapy to watch him, to see his work ethic, and then he drops the real proposition.
He offers Marshon a permanent position and sanctuary, hires him as the diplomatic ambassador of Dreoith to other immortal realms, the Dreoith and Underking.
And the specifics are just staggering. He's offered $350,000 a year.
Yeah, plus full benefits, wardrobe, room, board, travel. And that huge salary isn't just a reward, it's strategic.
It's Luke showing that Dreoith values competence and loyalty over some inherited title. It's a massive middle finger to the old guard that Marshon came from.
Luke is cementing his new status, ensuring his commitment. And what's fascinating is the practical reason for that manual labor they're doing.
Right, they're not just building fences.
No, they're defining the physical borders, so the V-Justice, the vampires of Dreoith, can anchor the magical wards. Marshon is literally helping construct the boundary of the sanctuary that he is about to desperately need.
He's on the verge of accepting this path. A bizarre but, a secure future.
And then everything just explodes. The entire conversation is thrown into chaos by an act of extreme human violence.
This is the driveway scene.
Yes. Before he can even formally accept the role of Dreoith, he sees a man stabbing a human personal assistant, a woman named Layla Durant. She stumbles toward Marshon, bleeding out, begging for help.
This is the flashpoint. Everything he lost, his honor, his purpose, it's all instantly replaced by this primal need. He claims her as his life mate, shouting, "She is mine to me."
And that protective rage, it just breaks his control. He shifts into his Gryphon form and rips the attacker to pieces with his lightning magic.
The scene is described as astonishingly violent. Blood, charred body parts, the smell of ozone in the air. I mean, they're literally cleaning up a war zone just to process a job offer.
Yeah. Layla's wounds are fatal. She's dying. So Mihaela, one of the V-Justice vampires, steps in to save her by turning her.
But that's when it gets even more complicated.
Right. Because Marshon's chaotic Gryphon magic, all that electricity mixed with blood from the cuts on his own arms, it pours into Layla during the turning.
Creating an unintentional hybrid.
Exactly. Spark later confirms that Layla now controls this light green electricity, a color totally different from Marshon's blue lightning, and she even uses it in her sleep.
So he saves her life, but he radically alters her nature and complicates their bond permanently. And this is when Flame and Kalik, who are both mated to V-Justice vampires.
Yes, Nightshade and Mihaela. They sit him down and deliver the shocking, non-negotiable terms of his new reality.
First, they warn him. Layla will fear him. She will probably try to run, even though he's her destined life mate.
And then comes the moral abyss. To make the consort bond work, to make sure her magic functions, and prevent this agonizing mental pain, or even the vampire fade Marshon must dominate her.
And to use the source's blunt language, he has to take her by force.
We have to linger on that. For a knight defined by honor, who literally lamented that theft wasn't in his skill set, this demand is monstrous.
Completely.
But Flame and Kalik are explicit. This isn't about dishonor or even about his desires. This is about fulfilling the Vegestus vampire's fundamental need for strength and dominance. If he doesn't do it, she will suffer. She'll be vulnerable. It's the ultimate sacrifice of his knightly code for her survival.
It totally redefines the stakes.
Yeah.
His own condemnation is meaningless compared to this.
And just to confirm the path, Layla wakes up, briefly.
Right, with that slurred vampire speech. But she confirms her name, why she was attacked, she refused her boss's advances.
And crucially, she confirms the promise she made to Michaela. She says she will listen to Marshon, feed on him, and take Marshon as my consort.
The die is cast.
Absolutely. Marshon realizes his identity, his ability to provide for her. It's all that matters now. He accepts the role of Keetoith, the ambassador, the pack membership, everything. Immediately.
Because his status as an underking is now what provides the sanctuary and protection she needs. It matters more than his old, useless military rank ever did.
And the new kingdom immediately starts to organize around him. Flair, a red dragon knight who used to run an herbal medicine store, is assigned as his protector.
Though Marshon quickly says they'll be friends, not master and servant, and Luke immediately tasks Flair with becoming Droi's new doctor.
Right. And then Luke gives Marshon the final assurance that really seals his place. He tells him Spark didn't just forgive him. That act of forgiveness meant that even Ash's death magic was rendered powerless against him.
So Marshon has found salvation through this overwhelming new responsibility.
He has. And his new normal, interestingly, involves continuing the hard manual labor of fencing.
He's getting his luxurious new apartments ready, quarters fit for a king and his consort, but he keeps his hands busy because, as the sources note, idleness leads to destructive thoughts. He needs that focus.
He's managing these monumental new moral and physical burdens he now has to carry.
So if we synthesize this whole saga, Marshon's intense personal despair, that thread of the Fade, it was instantly countered by the ultimate, non-negotiable responsibility of protecting his life mate, Layla.
The need to protect her forced him to embrace a whole new identity, a new role.
And Dreoith, for all its strangeness and complicated magical politics, it's a revolutionary place where a criminal can find a higher purpose and protection.
The profound shift here is the key takeaway. Marshon was condemned by his old kingdom for following rigid orders, but he found salvation and status in the new kingdom for breaking all the rules in an act of primal protection.
In Dreoith, purpose and protection supersede those traditional, rigid notions of honor. The world Luke Mendes is building isn't about who your ancestors were. It's about what you can do.
Yeah, it's about demonstrable loyalty and strength.
But this brings us right back to the most difficult part of his future. We've seen the shocking requirements of the Vegestus bond. Marshon is now struggling between his deeply ingrained honor as a knight and the primal, brutal needs of his hybrid mate.
And that's the ultimate provocative thought for you to carry forward from this deep dive. Marshon has to choose between the code that defined 200 years of his life and the survival of the woman he loves. So, if you are Marshon, faced with the certainty that Layla will fade or suffer unless you commit this brutal act against her, could you sacrifice your sense of self and your honor knowing it was the only way to save the person you love?
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and sharing Enter the Dream. Thank you for your support. For more, visit opheliakey.com. Welcome to the dream. Sincerely, OK.